Okay, I think we can get started. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the AI and imaging track of the AMLD. So to let everybody who's still struggling and eating dessert time to come in here, I'm actually going to tell you a little bit about a new initiative of EPFL called Imaging at EPFL. And this could be interesting for the people here who are from EPFL, but also maybe for the people who are not. So as I don't have to tell you, because you are sitting here, that imaging has become ubiquitous. So we're talking about the end users who are using images every single day, not just in their personal lives, but also for their jobs. A lot of visual sensing is out there, and we are taking these pictures and we use it from everywhere, as I said, from taking your holiday photos to supervising, manufacturing, to measuring plant growth, etc. Then we have behind that the data scientists. Some of you were sitting in this room who are actually analyzing all this massive data. But then in between, we also have the instrumentalists who basically do create the visual sensor and the visual sensing and the visual display. So there are many global trends in imaging. Today we'll talk mostly about imaging and learning, but of course there's also computational imaging, digital optics, intelligent imaging, personalized medicine, etc., etc., etc. With that, there's also a share of challenges that come with it. So imaging has become quite interdisciplinary. But how do you foster this interdisciplinary collaboration? And here I'm talking also specifically about academia, where it's sometimes not that easy to cross borders of different departments and different schools. But the same thing for all these images that are being used and being manipulated. How do we train our research staff just to have the basic digital skills to use this in any way of our basically different schools and different departments? Massive production of data, you know this, imaging analysis expertise. You know, there's a few faculties and a few labs at EPFL who concentrated on this. How can we actually spread our knowledge, upgrade facility, etc., etc., etc. So because of all this, and because imaging is actually a major initiative at EPFL, EPFL has taken into its 2021 and 2024 strategic plan a whole section about imaging. And the mission is that we want to position EPFL at the forefront of imaging research. And we want to federate the imaging activities at EPFL. So we are just in the beginning, but you'll hear much more about it. So the people who are actually organizing all this are all across from EPFL. Michael Unser is the chair, and then you have representatives from all the different schools. And you have a coordination team of Lauren and Danielle, who are both here, and Barbara Bowman of the presidency. Now, Lauren is also one of the track organizers. She has actually done the heavy lifting for you all to be here and has helped with the speakers. But one of the things that I do want to emphasize, that basically a third of EPFL labs are doing some imaging-related research. That's actually enormous. And so look forward of hearing much, much, much more about this imaging at EPFL in the near future. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's speakers. We are very fortunate to have Cornelia Schmidt, who's going to give today's keynote. Then we follow by Ender Konukoglu, by Leonard Boucher, Virginie Ullmann, and Carlos Becker. We also have a poster session during the coffee break, so don't forget to check out the posters. They are against this wall, more or less. Just go straight up and then take a right, and you'll see the posters. Also, let me actually introduce to you the track organizers. I already mentioned Lauren, who's done most of the heavy lifting. Then also Radhakrishna Ashanta, who's a senior scientist at the Swiss Data Science Center. Danielle Sage, who's also a coordinator of the Imaging at EPFL initiative. And Mathieu Salzmann, who's a senior researcher at the CV Lab. So with all that, let me introduce to you Cornelia Schmidt, who gives the first talk and our keynote. Now, Cornelia in the computer vision community does not need any introduction. She is one of our stars in computer vision. She has a MS degree in computer science from the University of Karlsruhe and a doctorate from the Institut National Polytechnique de Grenoble, INPG. Her thesis did get the Best Thesis Award from INPG in 1996. Since 1997, she's been at INRIA in Grenoble, where she is currently a director. Now, there's a whole list of awards, which I'm shortening a little bit. So she's a fellow of the IEEE, she got the ERC Advanced Grant, the Humboldt Research Award, INRIA and French Academy of Science Grand Prix, and she was elected to German National Academy of Sciences Leopoldina in 2017. The one award, and actually in plural, I really want to highlight, is actually the extremely prestigious Longe-Higgins Prize, which is given by the computer vision community. That is a prize that basically celebrates and acknowledges research that have withstood the test of time. So this is given for research that was done X years ago, and it's still absolutely relevant. You know how difficult that is to do this in today's quick-moving times. When my PhD students tell me, but this paper was published in 2011, that's old. You know, doing research that have withstood that time is absolutely astonishing. Now, Cornelia has received this prize not just 1, but 2, actually 3 years for part of her research. And I think that is just absolutely astonishing. So, one last thing, since 2018, she also works 50% at Google. You can ask her about that at the end of her talk. So, please welcome Cornelia.